Now that we know about conditional statements, it is time to move on to loops. Loops in programming allow you to perform tasks repeatedly or iterate over arrays of data. They are fundamental for automating repetitive tasks and handling collections of data. There are several types of loops in JavaScript, with the most fundamental being the for loop. Let's print out numbers from 1 to 5 to the console. So for let I equals 1 until I is less than or equal 5, and I plus plus, and then let's console log I. When we execute this code, the numbers from 1 to 5 are printed to the console. The for loop has the following syntax. Initialization. This step is executed once before the loop starts. It typically initializes the loop counter. In our example, the loop counter is initialized to 1. Condition. Before each iteration, this condition is evaluated. As long as this condition is true, the loop will continue. In our example, the loop will stop when I is 6. Increment. This step is executed after each iteration of the loop. It typically increments the loop counter. And semicolons. Initialization, condition, and increment are divided by semicolons. To get more in-depth understanding of how a for loop works, let's use the debugger to inspect our code. Let's add console log loop starts before the loop, and then console log loop is finished after the loop. Now, let's put a breakpoint on the line with console log I. A breakpoint is a marker that pauses the execution of your code at a specific line, so you can inspect the values of variables and the flow of control. It is a powerful tool for helping programmers identify bugs in the code. From the menu, select Run, Start Debugging, or press F5. Add the variable I to the Watch section in the left panel. The debugger starts executing the code, printing loop starts, and then stops execution at our breakpoint. When we inspect the value of I, it is 1. To resume code execution, use the Step Over button in the panel that appeared at the top. This moves to the next iteration of the loop, so the console log I line is executed, printing 1 to the console, and the value of I then increases by 1. In the next iteration, 2 is printed to the console, and the value of I increases by 1 again. By stepping through the loop, you can see exactly how the loop counter is changed and how the loop processes code. This continues until I is 5. At this point, the condition turns to false, so the code leaves the loop and prints loop is finished to the console. Now, we can remove the breakpoint. The for loop can be used for iterating over arrays. For example, let fruits is apple, banana, and cherry, and for let I equals 0 until I is less than fruit's length, I plus plus, console log fruits at index I. When we execute this code, the names of the fruits, apple, banana, cherry, are printed to the console. In this example, initialization, let I is 0, initializes the loop counter to 0, since arrays are 0 indexed, and we want to start from index 0. Condition, I is less than fruit's length, ensures the loop runs as long as I is less than the length of the fruits array, since the last index of an array is its length minus 1, and increment I++ increments the loop counter after each iteration. To sum up, the for loop is used to repeat a block of code a specified number of times. Components of the for loop statement include initialization, which sets the starting point of the loop, condition, which defines the loop continuation, and increment, which updates the loop counter. When should you use the for loop? When you know the exact number of iterations, when you need to iterate over arrays or collections, and when performing tasks that require a fixed number of repetitions.